What is poppin'? Happy Thursday. We are back with the Culture and Cannabis podcast. Hope everyone's having a great day. Listen, some good news. Let's just hop off the back. Some great news. Let me start over here. I'm JC Coates. I'm full-time Toady. This is JC Coates. Me and JC are cracked out right now on too much caffeine. We've had a crazy day, and so that's kind of where we're at.
But no more macchiatos for you today.
I crushed too many of those nitro cold brews, and once you get to number 3, you got to stop.
You just forget your name.
Yeah,
right? you think you're JC Coates. You know?
Sometimes I am JC Coates. But listen, we have a very special guest today, someone who is very near and dear to the culture and cannabis community, the movement, someone who's been very influential in starting culture and cannabis. We have Leilani. Leilani, how do you say your last name?
It's Leilani Joy Bernardo.
Leilani Joy Bernardo. Some people know us as Joy. Yeah. Some people know her as Leilani. And yeah, you're on the show today. What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
How we doing?
Good.
Welcome.
Thanks for sharing your coffee.
Sorry.
Oh, you didn't have any coffee this morning?
Didn't have any coffee?
No.
I'm going to spark a joint here.
She actually, I saw her drink half a pot of coffee this morning.
Let's give some disclaimers to people that don't understand the relationship right now. So,
you want to go first? Or you?
I think I should go last, maybe.
Okay.
So maybe you introduce.
Yeah, so full disclosure, our guest today,
Be nice.
Is my rock. She's my angel. We're together. We've been together for 5, almost 6 years now.
6 years.
We share a family together. We live together. And she's been my rock through this. This whole process of bringing culture and cannabis to a brand, into a business, into what it is today.
Yeah. Bay is what the kids call him today.
Bay. That's my Bay.
Before anyone else.
Full disclosure, this is my Bay.
About that.
Full disclosure.
Oh boy.
So
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Joy, what's your relationship with, other than being JC's rock, to culture and cannabis?
Well, first of all, let me go ahead and just tell
us
the
a little bit
viewers.
about yourself.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you to all the viewers watching, and thank you guys for letting me finally be here. So again, I'm Leilani Joy. I am the youngest of 3 and the only girl. I was born and raised in LA, California. Moved to Vegas when I was 14 years old, after my father passed away. Now, after my father passed away, my mom and my brothers, we opened a group home on his behalf. He always wanted to take care of people. So we opened a group home, took care of seniors. It was a great experience. But living and working in the home every single day, it wasn't typical for a young female, a young teenager at that time. I wanted to be more independent. So I went across the street from my high school. Back then it was Cimarron High. And I went to an all-state office, and I asked them if they were hiring, and they said no. Check back with us a couple weeks, and I did. And let's just say after the 4th time, the agent, Jim Fagiana, who has been a great mentor to me, said, wow, this young lady is so persistent. He warned me, there's no room in my office, there's not a lot of work to do, but let's give you a shot. So after 23 years, I'm here, running and managing his agency with 2 other great people, Brenda and Mel. So that's where I'm at now. But
so where'd you grow up? Where were you born?
Oh boy, here, LA.
So
I
what
was
part
born
of LA?
and raised in Inglewood,
Nice.
and then I moved up to Hawthorne.
And then you moved to
and then
Vegas
Baldwin
when you
Hills.
were how old?
14.
Nice. So you went to what high school did you go to in Las Vegas?
Cimarron High.
She just discussed all this.
Yeah, nice. Okay. I'm just the quick recap.
Just a quick recap.
Yeah.
Just in case no one was hearing.
So let's, I think it's important that we talk about you working at Allstate because, we as an event company have to have insurance.
Correct.
And the only way to be able to get that is through Joy. Mm-hmm. And, as someone that puts on events, it was, very influential, especially, coming into a business with JC is, we're squared away with insurance, which is a massive issue with a lot of businesses.
It's not just a requirement, but it's also important to also educate people on the reasons why they need the insurance.
Yeah.
Not
So
just thinking it's a requirement.
All of our events, they were required by the venues, right? And so all the culture and cannabis events have all been covered by, I think, a $2 million insurance policy that you've always processed for us, for the last 4 years or whatever.
And so You move here, so you worked at Allstate for 23 years, but in that 23 years, when did you meet this guy?
About 6 years ago.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was tough.
I can only imagine JC Coates 6 years ago.
Oh no, but it's been a true blessing. It really has. So yeah, in addition to being a full-time insurance agent, I am also, like you said, a co-founder and partner with you two amazing people, and Chuck and Dean. And it started back, I would say, about 4 years ago. We were doing all these events, and it was first named Networking and Informative. It was for professionals, small business owners coming together and networking.
Yeah, we had a marketing agency. We just started, and we were doing monthly events, and there were just networking events.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
And at that time, we had a great opportunity to meet someone that wanted us to do a special event for them. They're a well-known dispensary out here in Vegas, and it was a great success. I mean, it was so great that you and I, like I said, going back and sitting out in our apartment 4 years ago, trying to figure out how can we bring this back? How can we bring this whole culture back? The art, the music, the people, and then of course bringing the cannabis into it as well, because it was just evolving in Nevada. So that's honestly, I think, how we got our name, Culture and Cannabis. I mean, we wanted to bring that experience back to people.
Where did you guys first meet? Like, was it what nightclub?
Why is it gotta be?
I just know it was a nightclub, so tell me which one it was.
It was at SLS.
Oh, I called it. Called it, people.
I was out in the pool with all my girls, and they all swam away, and I just, honestly, I wanted to be on the list that night to go to the nightclub.
I don't know. So what was I doing?
You were promoting.
Oh,
you were going to all these group of girls, and yeah. So.
Hey, what's up? My name's JC Coates. Hey, listen, I got an awesome list to Encore tonight, so hit me up. Let me know if you need to get on the list. I got Encore.
And I knew that's what he was doing.
Cat House.
How you guys doing? My name's JC. I work the door.
Yeah, yes.
At the nightclub tonight. If you guys want, I'll be there. You could text me when you get there. I'll walk you in personally.
No, but you actually took, I don't know if you did it with other ladies, but you actually took the initiative to text me hours before the nightclub opened to see if I was coming.
It's all about the follow-up.
So
always about the follow-up. And, and that's something that I shared in your story, too. You followed up 4 times with Allstate before.
Exactly.
Something that we're all really good at is following up.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have partners, make sure they fucking follow up, all right?
So, I mean, then we started Culture and Cannabis, and of course we continued our events, and, it's just not the experience that I love about our events, it's the people that we meet. I mean, we met so many great people, and it was, and the friends, and, bringing the vendors back, and the artists, the bands, the, small businesses that wanted to also showcase their products. Bringing everyone as a whole to highlight the importance of cannabis. That's what I really enjoy from our events. You know what I mean? So, we weren't really trying to build a business. We were trying to build a brand for the community.
Yeah, build the platform and the community. We're full-fledged business, right? But we did start, kind of in the branding and community building first.
Yeah. So what was the first year you guys did the networking and the?
It's about 4 or 5 years ago.
And it was 2015 and 2016.
So then in 2016 you did your first ever Culture and Cannabis.
First Culture and Cannabis 2016.
And so I love the first ever Culture and Cannabis story because it's just like such a wild west cannabis event story. JC and Leilani, they're like, all right, we're gonna throw this event. We're gonna do tacos and free weed, and unbeknownst to anybody at that time, right, that really knew what their shit, they didn't know that you couldn't do free weed there, right? So I think it's just cool that's the kind of the way it started, and I think
it's all learning.
and it's all a learning experience, right? So
Exactly.
sometimes you're gonna make mistakes, and it's just about evolving and getting better, and that's what they did, right? So they did that one. Everyone got in trouble for it, and then they learned their mistakes, and then they evolved it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've been always evolving, right?
Yep.
It's been the main theme in the whole journey.
It's never a perfect event, but nothing's perfect.
And so that you do that Pesos event, and then you guys take a little bit of break, and then you guys come back, and that next one was at
Institution. We did another one after that.
Did we? I think we might have did one more at institution, and then the third one was at Commonwealth.
And then from there you started spreading out.
Yeah, well, that's when we got really buttoned up, right? And so we were like, all right, so this is a special event. This is a very special community. We want to do this at a high level, and we both work towards lifting the culture of cannabis in our community, right? And so we're like, it has to be non-consumption. We have to follow the rules, and we have to get our permits, and we're going to do them at facilities that are legal, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to produce sessions. We're going to produce quality events that give people the platform.
And as a couple partnership, tell the people that are listening about, like, was there a point where we're like, fuck, I don't know if this is going to work? Is there a point where you guys are sitting together at home, it's late at night, it's the couple days before the event, and you're like, fuck, I just don't know if this is going to happen? Or was it just positive vibes the whole way?
I think you had more of the positive vibes, to be honest. Those times where we had to call the vendors the night before saying we can't do the event for whatever reason it was. And but you just kept on thinking positive.
Yeah.
And we just came up with other ideas. So
I mean, I think before we started Culture in Cannabis, there was almost a 2-year period where I'd first started our business, and it was a client service business, and we literally did not have any clients.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it was really hard for you maybe in that time. But yeah.
Very humbling.
Very, very, very humbling, but I was always optimistic, and when we did even get some of our first clients, they were horrible clients. It was like me standing on the corner handing out street flyers, but I embraced that. I embraced that grimy work hustle because I knew it was temporary.
Yeah. Correct. So going a little bit further, you guys kind of button it up, you guys figure it out, you guys get bigger and better. You meet Chuck, obviously, who comes in. What time period does that happen when you guys meet Chuck?
Yeah. I mean, Chuck's been with us since the very first Culture in Cannabis.
Okay. Oh, okay. So Chuck comes in first Culture in Cannabis.
There's a video that exists. The very first Culture in Cannabis video
and
exists that Culture or that Chuck created.
And so you start developing that relationship, which essentially takes you to the next level with as far as content goes, and that's what kind of started separating you guys from the rest of the pack. That's what I from outside looking in, seeing you, in 2017, 2018, be like, who the fuck's this JC Coates guy? Why does he have 10,000 followers already? Why the fuck do I have 10,000 followers? And
still don't have that much.
And the content, that's what it comes down to, right? They brought Chuck in to do content, which obviously he fucking mastered.
Awesome.
And as you're building this, you're doing the content, you're getting email lists, you're getting clients, you're getting bigger and better. And then you get the New Leaf account,
yes,
which was, I think, was a big benchmark for you guys as a group, for you three. Tell us a little bit about getting that client together as a couple and how excited you guys were, and then getting your teeth into it.
Yeah. Do you remember? Yeah, I mean, so I mean, at the time we were, talking about creating content, right? I really believed in creating content and those types of services, and I think in 2015, 2016, going out trying to sell those services was really hard, right? And it took us a while to get the freaking clients, right? And we would even and so like around 2016, it was only 4 years ago. But people were starting to ask about social media, right? They saw in the marketing budgets that it was important, and people were starting to spend money in those areas.
And they saw the content that we were doing for New Leaf.
Exactly, and so they saw the content that we were creating for our personal brand, stuff like that. And then so New Leaf was one of those people that reached out to us, and it was the marketing director that was there at the time. He called me. He's like, JC, I need some help with your social media, and so. Yeah, it was great because we needed it.
Yeah, and so you guys lock up that account, which then enables you to expand your reach way more deeper into the cannabis culture, right? The legal cannabis culture. Because
yes.
I want to make very clear, JC has always been very tight with the culture in general, and that's why JC has succeeded. But I think JC took the next level, like I said, when he went to New Leaf, and then got really ingrained into the legal Nevada cannabis culture.
Yes. Yeah. And you always told me to made sure that we were playing by the rules.
Yeah.
I always had that influence.
And
there was the rules that we didn't know either.
Yeah, and there was the rules you guys
learn
didn't know
from.
either. And I think that's what what helped you guys so well is that you guys had that balance of the caution from Joy and the risk taking from JC.
But just on that point, it was really cool. That's when Joy, Chuck, and I really got really close, right? Because that was the first shot for us that somebody believed in us and gave us a budget to create content for marketing, right? And so, it was kind of like the heyday of cannabis, right? When it was medical to rec, right? Everybody was spending money like crazy. And, our client had 2 stores. And so, Joy, Chuck, and I would drive to fucking Tahoe every other week for a year and a half straight, just creating content and building out that brand for that retail store. And, we knew, probably it's not going to last forever, you know what I mean? But because I think we still were a little bit ahead of the curve, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely ahead of the curve.
But we did it as long as we could, and we went hard. Yeah.
And so you guys, that happens. You guys start traveling back and forth. I think I meet you maybe 2 or 3 months into that contract, up in Tahoe. Shout out to Harmonia CBD, Brandon.
Yes.
If it wasn't for you dragging me up there, bro, I never would have met JC, and this never would have happened. So I got lots of love for you. So I come up to New Leaf with Brandon. I still work with Harmonia CBD. Was working with them a lot more heavily at the time. Helping them grow their brand. And we get up there, and JC and Brandon's like, "Yo, we're gonna go on the podcast. It's gonna be great. You're gonna do great. Everyone's gonna be good. You're gonna meet JC. Everyone's gonna be awesome. Whatever. So we go. We do the pop up. First time meeting JC. JC rolls out. Tight white shirt, skinny jeans. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn, this guy's cool as fuck.
I had the Gary V's on too.
Yeah, and you had the Gary V's on, and I was like, oh, you got the Gary V's on?
Joy had just bought them for me.
Yeah, I was like, yo, you got the Gary V's on, bro? I fucking love Gary V. And JC was like, yeah, I like Gary V too. And so me and JC at first, I think it was a matter of us trying to like figure out how we felt about each other, maybe the energies. Because when I first met him, it was like the first 30 to 45 minutes, I didn't say a word to JC. Like, oh, hey, how you doing? Anthony, nice to meet you. Oh, I'm JC, nice to meet you. Oh, those are really cool shoes, man. I really like Gary V. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. And then we get into the podcast, and we have a really good conversation. Me and JC's flow. I mean, I think there was 2 people on the podcast, probably didn't get one word in the whole time. Me and JC are just going back and forth talking, like, because as someone who was trying to become an event marketer, JC, showed me props, like, yo, dude, you put on a pretty big event. Pretty cool. And, with Reno as fuck, whatever. So, and I got to meet you and Chuck, and that relationship started evolving because every time they came up, I would go meet them. I would go up to Tahoe, and I just realized, that energy was good. I just always knew that I wanted to work with you guys. I needed to figure out how my value got brought in.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
been a true blessing, by the way, Tony.
Yeah, and same to you guys. And so I'm going up there every weekend, just like talking with JC, like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do. This. I'm coming down. JC's like, bro, just do some shit. It's like, make sure you're doing content. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're doing that. And so I started doing a lot more content. And I think probably from when I first met you to about 6 to 7 months later, it wasn't until we were like, okay, I was helping you on like some minor stuff, but then you're like, all right, let's, I need help with culture and cannabis, and I think you can definitely help me. Let's do it. Yeah. And I remember because we were at Chuck's house right after we shot the first podcast.
Yes.
Because New Leaf, you guys are no longer working with New Leaf, and I was like, yo, you need to bring this podcast because it was fucking fantastic. Yeah. And so we start the podcast at Chuck's house in his living room where he has the Morning Dinner podcast with Keem. Yeah. And I remember this day vividly. We're outside Chuck's house, and I'm in town from Reno. Yeah. And JC's like, listen, dude, we can take this thing to the next level, man. I just need some bandwidth, essentially, what he told me. Like, I just need your help, be some support. We can do this. And I just remember thinking, like, I don't know, man. I had a bunch of other things going on. I had contracts, and I thought about it that day, called JC. I'm like, yes, bro. Obviously, this is like 100% what I want to do.
Let's see where you guys are at now.
And so, and then fast forward, I moved to Las Vegas. We start developing a really, really good relationship. I come down, we're hanging out. I remember that one time we went to Stoney's all together, and I think that was like kind of the first ever like us three of us as a partner meeting, talking about the future of culture and cannabis. And I was able to move back down to Las Vegas. I got to spend a lot more time with you guys, build up a better relationship. And I think that when I first moved back down, I was with you guys a lot. And I think you guys, you had mentioned when you three got close, when you first got the New Leaf account, and when I first moved back, I felt like when I got really close with you guys. And then we got the fucking licensing deal, and here we are today.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy evolution to see, right? You know, I've been telling JC I'm gonna make a post about him, which I'm going to. I just haven't figured out the exact date or what accomplishment I want to make JC's head bigger than any room we can fit in. So, but it's gonna be a really nice post. But JC back in 2013 was doing Live Out Loud. What was it, Live Out Loud? What was it called?
Wake up now.
Wake Up Now.
Wake Up Now.
And there's a video of JC, talking about how, you can be beat up and all this stuff, but when you're at your lowest spot, that's when go time is. And there was a lot of times where I was at my lowest spot in between Reno and moving back to Las Vegas, but between the cannabis convention, I had lost accounts. I was racking up credit card debt. I called JC about my problems. He'd be like, bro, no one cares about your crying, bro. You better get back to fucking work. You better get back to fucking work. And I remember specifically the week before the Reno Cannabis Convention, calling JC and being like, bro, I don't know what's gonna happen. He's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Why are you calling me? You better start calling around and getting fucking booths booked. And ended up working out. And now we're here today at this podcast studio. So this is just a quick wrap of how we got here today.
Yes.
And now, we're one big happy family, just trying to wade the waters in this cannabis industry as a small group, a small but very, very powerful group.
Yes.
With that being said, we call you Mama Joy for a reason, because you also are a mom.
Yes.
But you mother the group, right? You make sure that we're taken care of. Every time we come over to your house, there's food for us. Chuck won't eat half the stuff you make, but you always make sure it works. If it's green, Chuck's not eating it.
I know.
Unless it's sour gummy worms. But you embrace that term, right? Everyone that comes to Culture and Cannabis knows you as Joy. They love seeing you at the door. I got to experience that firsthand at Paul Wall, helping you work the door, and was I remember telling JC after, I was like, whatever you do, you can't take Joy off the door. because that
I love being at the door.
Because that first interaction is so important, right? Yeah. 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, Joy, get back around the table, because Joy's giving everybody a hug. How you doing? How's your mom? Oh, how were those cookies good I sent you last week? Stuff like that. And so you being a mom in cannabis, this is a JC question. You being a mom in cannabis,
the lead up.
You being a mom in cannabis, how does that work, right? You're obviously doing the insurance. You're now a partner in a cannabis company, a cannabis event company, and you also have children to manage. How do you juggle all that?
It's tough. It's tough. We do have 2 boys. They're stepbrothers, and when they first met, they did not get along. It was a lot of tension and stress in the household, and yes. So doing all this, it takes a lot of me, and I have to say, drinking, unfortunately, was my go-to. I had a really bad habit. I thought that was something that can resolve my issue or the stress at that time, but then I started taking CBD, thanks to Harmonious CBD, Brandon, that has helped me with my health. But, consuming cannabis. Now, I wasn't really used to smoking, so I did the THC infused drinks, the edibles. But then when we launched our first Culture and Cannabis products, the pre-rolls, it made it easier for me to smoke. So with all the stress going on, I had to stop drinking. It got to the point where it's really bad to say, but I would be drinking 7 to 8 martinis a day and not even getting a buzz. And I used to outdrink people. It was really bad.
Oh, yeah, you could outdrink me.
Yeah, it was really bad. And that was every day. So to the point, there was one point in my life, and it was 4 months ago, that I had to make that decision. It's my life, it's my family, it's my business, or do I just want to keep on continuing with this path? So, when we had events or, attending other events, I would drink, of course, because it was the easiest thing to do, right? But then when we got home, I would, smoke your roll or, your bong, and it would take the urge away to continue drinking that day. So then I realized when I wanted to stop, why don't I just consume cannabis instead of drinking? And that's honestly been the true help for me.
Yeah.
So with the stress going on with the kids and all that, of course, I don't smoke in front of them. I do my THC infused drinks or my edibles, but just to calm me down. And then at the end of the night, when they're in their bedrooms, then I can consume it. But that's been really the blessing and thing that actually saved my life.
Yeah, something that JC and Joy did at the beginning of this year was they gave up alcohol, and honestly, one of the I'm really proud to call JC and Joy my partner, but after the beginning of the year, seeing them to be able to just be like, yeah, fuck this alcohol shit. We need to grow our business. We need to get better. We need to be proactive. And they just cut that shit dry, and they haven't looked back since. And honestly, like, I told JC this yesterday, but I'm so proud of both you guys, and honestly, a massive inspiration to myself, everyone around us, and it just shows me that any obstacle or something, rocks or people or anything that gets in our way, it doesn't matter, because we're gonna get over it, right? Yeah. And it just shows your guys' strength. And I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, here's the thing. It's like it's true. Like if you want to be successful and you want to capture the dream, right? The things that people say is true. There's things that you have to change in your life to get what you want, and along the way, if you don't make those changes, you're just not going to get where you want to go.
100p.
And for us, dropping alcohol in January, it's not for everybody, but for us, it was important. And man, it was almost instantaneous since we stopped and let go of that habit, which doesn't serve us anymore. It's just like our business blew up. Our relationships got better.
Our family and whole,
everything got better.
Yeah, massive changes.
And we, use cannabis to get through it.
Yeah, and that's another story why that people always try to compare alcohol and cannabis, and there's right there the difference, right? Mm-hmm. You're able to build a multi-million-dollar cannabis business using cannabis. You're not going to be able to do it as much as when you're drinking alcohol.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot harder.
It was the easy thing to do at that time.
Yeah.
And kids are driving me nuts. Sorry, you are driving me nuts. It was easy to get that glass of wine or the vodka, but yeah.
And it was such an inspiration that I did it with them for the first almost 60 days.
Yes, he did.
And then I was like, it's Super Bowl weekend. I am going to get drunk. So
that's right.
But so you talked about that you don't smoke around your children.
No.
What's the protocol that you guys have with your children when it comes to cannabis?
I think you can answer that.
We talk about it. I'm open with it. I don't like smoke. I don't smoke in front of my kids, but like
we do.
I'll smoke in the backyard. If they see me or walk by, I'm not like trying to hide it. And then we talk about it.
We have to talk about it because in school, I'm finding out people have those vapes and
and they know about culture and cannabis, right?
Obviously,
they see the packaging everywhere. You go out in our garage.
Videos
there's typical entrepreneur boxes everywhere, and they see us on Instagram, so they know. So for me, it's just education, talking about it, and plus it's almost kind of easy because with us, we're so submerged in the community. People will just come over to the house, like Nana, right? Like patients will come over to the house, and our kids can see
and Marty and
that they're using it like on a medicinal level. So.
And they they see that we're all productive, active members of society trying to grow a business, and there's been nothing but growth. There's been no fallbacks because of cannabis. So I think it's really important that that you guys have those conversations, and they every time I go over there, it's very very respectful. They it's like almost like more like they understand more. Like like Dad's friends are here. Yeah. They're gonna go do their thing. I'm gonna go do my thing, and out of respect.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, because everybody knows we're not. It's not a secret.
Well, I mean, how could you, right? This is how you make a living, and it wouldn't be any different, right? If if you guys owned a vodka company or a beer company, right? Be like, what's the difference? I bet you there's so many people that crack open an ice cold one at the end of the day when they're eating dinner with their family, and it's you could say the same thing. Someone rolls up a joint at the end of the day in front of their family. So, I've met a ton of parents with children that use cannabis that are either in the industry, not in the industry, just smoke it, and I haven't met a bad one yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, there's probably some out there. I'm not gonna say there's some people that abuse cannabis and then abuse their children, most likely. With that being said, though, everyone that I've met, the coolest kids, very well grounded, and I think also it goes back to when you smoke weed, you have a lot more patience.
Correct. Oh yeah.
And you're willing to work through something more. I mean, even with myself, I don't have kids, but in situations where I have very little patience, which is a lot of the time, if I'm high, I'm gonna have a lot more patience in that situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because if I'm, a few shots in, a couple beers in, the patients go out the door.
Yeah.
Our kids even tell us. Our kids even tell us that they like us, smoking instead of drinking.
Yeah.
So hearing that from the kids, it's
they
like,
get all
wow.
Miller Light with a Jameson shot back.
Yeah. And I mean, like when I grew up, it was, I got sent to rehab. I got, long story, but it was like
We'll
drugs.
dive into that later.
Yeah, it was drugs and it was bad, and we like to sneak around, right? So I think like for our kids, they won't ever feel like they have to like sneak around, hopefully.
Yeah, and they have that conversation with you about what they're doing, what's happening, and whatnot. So I think that's great. I think that's good.
Did we get to all your?
Did you have one more point?
So.
Yeah.
Joy came today with questions because me and
came
JC win
prepared.
almost every single one of our podcasts. We look at the person's Instagram, or we either know the person personally, so we're able to ask some questions. But 99% of the time, we're just winging the podcast because we believe that a more authentic podcast is just in a conversation rather than more new style anchor questions. So. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank
you.
you.
We're going to obviously have you on the podcast
Thank you.
a million times more. It's sorry that it's
You guys
taken
just did this because it's Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day's on Sunday, so happy Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, too.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, especially the ones that smoke cannabis. Where can they find you on Instagram?
So it's Leilani _Joy. I just changed it to Joy.
Nice.
Yep.
Underscore Joy.
Yep.
JC.
So that's 44 in the books.
I think it's 43.
43.
It's 43.
Is it 43?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 43. But we had some new products that got launched.
We do have some new
What
products.
do we got? Well, let's talk about what these are, and then we can dive into the new products.
Yeah, so Culture and Cannabis papers, right? These are the official Culture and Cannabis branded wraps, papers, 100% hemp. See this right here?
Here, let me hold it, and this way they can get the...
Got your crutches right here.
Boom. Culture and Cannabis papers.
Culture and Cannabis papers.
Opened it up.
You can find these, I think next week you can buy just these papers at the drop.
Nice.
Yes, they'll be at the drop.
Nice.
A few different smoke shops. But for the people that smoke cannabis, right? So we're having a brand new type of product come out. It's the ready to rolls.
Yes.
You might have heard about the ready to rolls, but our ready to rolls, these are going to be the most incredible ready to rolls. It's a whole experience that comes along with it. You get a free pack of papers.
Comes in a pack just like this.
Comes in a beautiful pack just like that. There's going to be a QR code on it, right? Scan that QR code. It's going to take you to a page. It's going to give you an instructional video by my man right here, Full-Time Tony. Is going to take you step by step how to roll the perfect joint using the branded Culture and Cannabis packs. And we'll probably have some maybe some different influencers drop some different videos.
100p.
So, buy a pack, scan the code. You never knew who's going to drop the video and teach you how to roll a joint.
It might be even JC.
Could be me.
Could be Joy.
Oh,
Could be Chuck. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We also, so those come in eighths, quarters, and half ounces.
8 quarters and half ounces. They're ready to rolls.
And then we also dropped our smaller line of full flower product in eighths, quarters, and half ounces as well. These are great. These are awesome full flower products from Solaris Farms, a hybrid high-tech greenhouse grow.
Yes.
One of the most high-tech greenhouse grows in the country, honestly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Once again, awesome packaging, new packaging. We got a window on the back. We heard you guys' thoughts.
Yes.
We heard that we wanted a window, so we made the window. Well, Chuck made the window.
Yes.
We got some awesome cool stickers on here with the QR code, letting you know where the flower's from and whatnot. There's gonna be some cool stuff with that as times open up. And dispensaries.
Dispensaries are going to be open on Saturday.
The restaurants can be open on Saturday. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff happening, and I think it's I think it's time. I think it's time that we get back out into society and see what's been happening.
Yes. I hope you learned something on your Coronication because it's over.
It's over,
Yes,
people.
yes.
We're getting back into society. Let's get rocking and rolling. I'm ready. I think a lot of you are ready, and we'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Episode
it.
43.
And the books.
JC.Coates.
JC.Coates.
At Full-Time Tony. You can find us at Culture and Cannabis. If you have any questions about anything, just hit us up. Check out our website. Or we have some gear too. cncco.shop. The Culture and Cannabis LV.com page. So check out new articles, new videos, all that good stuff. Stay up to date with everything Culture and Cannabis. And that's about it. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, wherever the fuck you listen to this podcast or watch this podcast. And that's about it. So have a great Thursday. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.